News Across the Galaxy presents The MidWeek Show. I'm your host, Brian Lois, and as usual, Mr. Edgar. How you doing today, sir?
I'm all right, man. As you guys can see, I'm already in the beautiful city of Charlotte. I'm sitting here with a bunch of people that are frozen in time, I guess. I don't know. This is last summer, actually, and I had a great time out there. But as much as I love the city of Charlotte, there's these two other cats with me that absolutely love the city so much they actually live there. So I want to introduce them right now because they have one of the best MLS podcasts out there right now. Guys, please give a warm welcome to CLT FC Fan TV's Lee and JT. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up? We are really in Charlotte. At least I live technically in Charlotte. Lee's kind of a little bit north of Charlotte. We are CLT FC Fan TV for the fans, by the fans. Damn it. And we're OGs, man. We the day the team was announced as what the name of the team was going to be, Lee grabbed up all the handles for CLT FC and Fan TV and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we've been doing it for a while, and we're having a ton of fun. Not nearly as long as y'all, but at the same time, we love being part of this MLS family and community. And we're stoked, and we can't wait to see you come to our stadium, The Bank, on Saturday, and hopefully we come out with the dub.
Yeah, take that L. Take that L. That's a great looking stadium behind you.
Sorry, my dog's upset about something. But it is the Bank, not to be confused with the Stank, which we have out here, by the way. If you guys haven't heard the Stank, that's the unofficial name of the Noisy Neighbors Stadium.
Oh, the LAFC, huh?
Yeah, the Noisy Neighbors.
Bleep that out, I guess.
Where is your stadium?
Our stadium is actually located in the city of Carson. It's not downtown LA, but it is Los Angeles nonetheless.
Carlson, probably about 20 years ago.
What? You were here 20 years ago?
Yeah, for work.
Oh, no way. Carson's not a bad city. It's the stadium where it's located, it's pretty chill. For a stadium, I guess being built there is pretty chill. And well, the neighborhood really
in and
nice.
out of?
Yeah, it's easy to get in and out of there. And on top of that, there's a couple freeways that lead there, so everybody from any city could come in there, and less traffic than going to downtown LA. That's 100% sure.
Or you get some of these stadiums that are out. They can be out far out, but at the same time, there are very little roads that go in and out of there. Mm-hmm. So it's a crazy bottleneck. So it sounds like you've got the best thing, which is a little bit out of town, but still in LA proper. But also there's plenty, you can go east, west, north, south, and come in off different freeways. So
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I was going to say, if you're a visiting supporter, sometimes people get like hotels or motels that are real close to the airport, and the airport is like not that far away. It's like, I don't know, 20 minutes away. So sometimes people get out the airport, they'll drop their bags and then go straight to the stadium, and it's all like right there.
Which airport?
LAX.
Oh, LAX, is that? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We spoke about what, year and a half ago, more or less?
About over a year ago. Yeah,
it was
a lot of
night that night.
What was that?
I said that was a wild night that night.
yeah, you vanished, and JC's like,
my phone died, I think. Oh, it was a mess. Anyways.
Yeah, man. We have seen, at least I have. I don't know if other people here in LA have, but we have seen Charlotte FC grow a lot since it first joined the league. We've seen you guys grow your supporter culture and establish a footprint in MLS, where a lot of people at first were like, hey, why is Charlotte getting a soccer team? You know, there's no way soccer is going to survive in the South. But then we saw Atlanta, saw Charlotte, seeing Nashville survive out there. And I'm going to talk about that rivalry, by the way, because I know I've seen the banter go really back and forth.
South, are they? I don't think Nashville's in the South. But anyway.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, how has the supporter culture evolved since you guys joined the league, and especially over the last couple of years?
Yeah, JT, you want to take that, or you want me to jump on it?
I think I want you to take it, Lee, since you're more amongst the people. So just so you know, on game day, I get the media pass and run around and do video and on the pitch and all that kind of stuff. And then we do the fan interviews after the game. But Lee is the one with the fans and getting the true, full-on, deep experience. He has all the connects. So Lee, you tell me about the supporters.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the supporters groups, there's five official supporters groups. Blue Fiera, Mint City, Hooligans, Southbound and Crown, and who am I missing, JT?
Queen City Royals.
No, they're not the official group.
Well, official groups have to be the big enough ones, right?
Yeah.
So like South Charlotte people aren't official.
Not sure. Maybe South Charlotte are official now. Maybe anyways, there's five groups mainly, and then there's a couple of others that for whatever reason are not official supporters groups. You know, we all meet at this. We have a big tailgate lot that we meet at before the game. Everybody has a little station set up. You know, we're drinking, we're eating, we're playing video games. We got TVs up for any like games that may be on, like we're in the Premier League or some earlier games that may be going on for MLS or anything like that. And then about an hour before, we all come together and we do our big march, which is about half a mile from the stadium. And we just sing our songs, banging the drums, letting off the players. And then we all go into the stadium. And there we are, giving LA Galaxy a big loss.
Well, I was telling Bryant before we came on, and Bryant, you can go with this one, but just to set you up, a big part of the supporter culture, a big part of the football culture out there has to do with like unique traditions that the team has. And one of the ones that I really like a lot is a little fella that Bryant.
Yeah, Sir Minty. Let us, because we have Cosmo here, and then before Cosmo, we had Twizzle. So we've seen mascots throughout MLS have their influence in the culture. So with Sir Minty, what has he been for the Charlotte culture, just in general in soccer?
JT, you seem to hang out with him way more than
yeah. You know, I mean, Sir Minty is a mascot, and he's a big soccer ball with cute kind of. It reminds me of Kirby, if you know Japanimation stuff. You know, he's perfectly round. He's a soccer ball, but he's got like those eyes like that, real sweet little face, and he wears a cape and he wears a crown. And he just walks around the concourse. And he does, you know, usually before the games, he'll do some stuff. He's usually during the games, he just walk around the concourse and, you know, doing the mascot thing, hugging kids, taking pictures. It is cool. In one part of the stadium, they have, so that's the giveaway from like 3 weeks ago, which was real popular. Sir
Cape
Minty.
on, Lee. Put the cape on. Come on.
man, it keeps my ass, man. Every time I try to put this on,
just get your back away from the back of the chair and it'll work.
to sit, JT.
You need to get off your headphones too, man. Just go free air. Like
There you go. See, look at that.
Yes.
So it was funny though, because when we were doing the fan interactions that night, it was a windy night, and Lee's trying to talk to people, and where we do it is almost like a funnel with the buildings there in the stadium, and that wind was whipping, and that thing is just sitting there hitting Lee all in the face. So when we did our live show Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, YouTube, I hooked up one of the Minty capes to my fan, and I had it blowing like in the foreground the whole time because it was just a whatever joke. But anyway, Minty. The thing about Minty is the kids love him. He's got his own little platform to take pictures with them. The team does good stuff. I think he goes out in the community, does a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But we all thought that he would have a new or at least a cleaner uniform because he's a white soccer ball with black checker patterns, the classic. And his outfit's getting a little dirty, man. And I saw him up close for the first time the other day, and I really leaned in and talked to the man behind the curtain. And I have no idea. That's the other joke. The joke going around is that players that never made it on the pitch or that we heard about, Lee can tell you more about this, we would always have the joke that that's who Sir Minty was. That was the player was actually inside the outfit, the costume. But I was like, I hugged him, and this was last game. And I was like, dog, because I'll see him in elevators and stuff when he's going in between certain areas. And he never talks or anything, obviously, because he's a soccer ball. But I was like, damn, man, you dirty, man. Dog, man, someone's got to get some cleanliness on you. But I didn't want him to feel bad because he's, But they need to. Hey, if this ever gets back to Charlotte, we've talked about it enough. But just in case, somebody give Sir Minty some cleanliness. Clean that ball.
I also wanted to get is Sir Minty, as soon as Charlotte FC became an official MLS club, is that when he came into the picture?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was right away, but it was around that time, right? I think it was before the first game kicked off against you guys at home.
Yeah, Charlotte. Back in the day, you know, we had a major gold rush too in the 1840s, and it's still one of the largest federal treasuries. They've got so much gold and silver and some crazy vault underneath the city, and there are a lot of gold mines around here, and still the ones you can go to today. But they minted a lot of coin. There was a treasury department here, and it still is. But that's the whole minted thing. So the first season, I don't have my coins out here right now, but the first season, you know, it says, you know, minted 2022. That's right. Yeah, on the logo it says minted. So that's the whole thing. Sir Minty is minted, you know, whatever. He's a soccer ball who's minted along with this whole Queen City. We've got a royal thing and a literally making money thing going in Charlotte. So
at the bank.
The bank, which is sponsored by Bank of America. And Charlotte, for anyone who doesn't know, besides New York City, is the largest banking center with the population of people who work here, blah, 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 in the United States. So that's why we also call it the bank.
Yeah. That thing you were saying about Sir Minty, like, you know, looking kind of dirty there. I was friends with the original Cosmo, which was our alien mascot. And so I got to chat with him on many occasions. And I remember he told me at one point, because let me back up a bit, the mascot has changed, like his outfit has changed over the years. It went from like being like a highlighter green to like a bluish kind of thing. And now he's like a dark blue. But when I met him, he was still wearing the highlighter green. And I would ask him stuff like, hey, what's it like being the mascot? And then he was like, man, let me tell you something. This thing smells like nachos, beer, and vomit. I'm like, what?
It smells like after
it smells like Lee.
And so I was like, vomit? That sounds horrible. He's like, well, yeah. He was like, but mostly it smells like beer and sweat and nachos. And he was like, he goes, at one point, it was just anybody that like interns or whatever that would have him dress up like the mascot. He goes, but then eventually, he goes, I started doing it. And he's like, you know, it was a lot of fun. Now, mind you, I met him in the years following when Beckham came over, and the team wasn't great right away, right? Beckham came over and there was a lot of hype, but it took a while for the team to really start clicking. So there were a couple of seasons when they were bad. They were really bad. And to me and one of my friends, I would go to the game. Our highlight was seeing Cosmo, because he would come over to where we were in the North End and he would jump up and he would do these crazy antics. And we didn't know it at the time, but he was drunk. And my buddy would tell me, he's like, yeah, man, he goes, the team was so bad, I would go to the bar across the street and just have a bunch of drinks and then just show up to the stadium and just lose. Yeah. And there were a few times when we saw that dude like fall off the wall, hit the ground, get his head trapped in the stands, and we had to help him. I mean,
everybody thinks this is a skit. The dude's just
they're like, this guy's talented, and also the suit gives you a certain amount of protection.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those things are padded.
No face, no case.
That's right.
Damn.
So yeah, man, the mascot thing it's real, man. So over the years they've upgraded the suit, and he says they clean it once a year, and I'm like, oh god, I can't imagine those real hot summer nights when it's humid.
I had a friend who worked at Walt Disney World for one summer and had to drive us up as Chip or Dale, and she said, I mean, number one, she looked great because the amount you get cut. You're talking about wearing a sweatsuit all day, but yeah, the amount of water you lose. And you'd imagine walking around in Orlando in that humidity, whatever. I don't envy. Yeah, his legs are open. If it's a he, I think it's a he. It's Sir, and his arms are open, and the ball is probably, I don't know, 4 feet diameter, whatever. But man, it's still got to be hot in there.
Man, it's the way you describe it. It sounds like he's riding a chopper down the road or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy him.
Yeah, but respect to Sir Minty, except
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah, so
He was storming the
respect to
castle,
him.
baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, like you mentioned some of them already. You mentioned the march. I've been to that area where the fans gather. Like I said, I was out there last summer. That's
Mhm.
when you and I met, Lee.
Yeah.
Uh, and I remember like I was there to watch the U.S. play against Trinidad, and all the U.S. Fans, like American Outlaws, they all met at this little gravel parking lot, and
Yeah.
everybody was kind of tailgating there. So that is the place where everybody congregates right before the game.
Yeah.
And then you'll march to the stadium.
Yeah.
So what kind of unique traditions besides the march have become a staple of the supporter culture out there?
Oh, I mean, when we played you guys, right? When that first home game, there was like what 75,000 people or something in the stadium, and they get to singing the national anthem, and the mic goes out, and then the whole stadium took over. So now, I don't. And these people that come in to sing the national anthem before every game, they start like the first 6 words, and then they just drop the mic, and we take over. So it's an easy. I think, right? I could do that. I'd be like, oh, and then just drop the mic and like, give me my grand, right, and walk out.
Yeah, I want to make that note. It was that night was insane for so many reasons, but that was a moment. I mean, people were tearing up because she's singing the American anthem. 75,000. I mean, the place is packed out to the gills, and it was just so unruly. Security didn't know. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
And she's singing, and the microphone goes out, and without. Not that it's a fast song, but the crowd picked it up automatically, and it was just goosebumps. It was crazy. However, to Lee's point, it's now the 3rd year, and I'm like, well, at least sing half of it, because we've got these professional singers, or not professionals, but they're good, and whatever. I'm like, give us like 4 bars or something, and I'm sure too. I would assume, you're like, well, they don't have to sing the whole song, but they're getting paid, 1,000, whatever. We don't really know. But it's like you figure they want to finish the song, and you'll see what a lot of them do that I noticed the other day is they'll pull it away. They'll keep singing. They just keep the microphone away from them. So they'll just sit there and they'll go like this, like they're part of the, like bring it crowd. But I'm still, man, some of those, like, especially like when it's like a, 17-year-old who wants some content, you never know. It's like, let her sing, man. Let her crank it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've also got the tradition where somebody gets crowned before the game, right? They have that sort of.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yes, and then obviously at the end of the game, whoever the man of the match is for Charlotte, if we win, right, gets put up in there, and then the fans get to crown them as well. So,
wait, what do you mean, like getting crowned? Like, what's the whole process of this whole?
They got a throne. They got this big throne.
No, hey.
And then you have to walk up it, right? So at the beginning of the game, it's somebody that's like known to Charlotte, right, or the community, or something, like has some sort of ties to Charlotte somehow, and then the fans crown them, and then after the game, when we win, whoever the man of the match is, they walk up there, and then the other fans also get to put the crown on them, and they get to take pictures, and they got all this smoke and stuff going.
Yeah. So cool. the throne chair. Let's see if I can do it. Like the steps up to it are down on the pitch. So you can't walk up get into the chair unless you're on the pitch, which means you got to be a player. You got to, have your credentials, whatever. But it's right there embedded into the front of the supporter section. So literally anyone from the supporter section, if they were close enough, could climb over and get on the chair. But they can get all around it and whatever. And yeah, they have these black crowns that are in these boxes. They don't have any jewels on them or anything, but they do have all the CLT, whatever. But it's like a matte black. It's not like shiny or anything. And depending on who it is, like it was last weekend, it was Paul Feinbaum, who's a analyst on ESPN who lives locally and whatever. But it's sports people. It's fun. Like Clinton Dempsey was a fun one because he lives close by, and you would never know. But whatever, they're honorary guests, but it can be someone who survived cancer. Whatever, someone who's worthy.
Heidi, one of she's the president of one of the supporters groups. She was on there. She got crowned. I mean, her story. But I'll go down that path. But her story meant a lot to the soccer community, and so they crowned her. Sort of thing. So
Yeah, so it's not just celebrities; it's just whoever's worthy. But yeah, it's part of the whole build up, and like the guy dressed as a knight, from back in the day comes out and puts this thing in the. It's a whole production for sure, and the fireworks and all that stuff. But it's fun, man. We get cranked up, and then they do
the Poznan.
the what?
Poznan, right? When we all turn our backs to the thing.
Yeah, that in the song, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But the thing I will say this though, just to tag onto it all, is the team from the beginning knew marketing wise that they wanted this to be a party, and they had shirts that said "Let's party, come to the party, 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 party." So they have been full on like, let's have a good time, whatever. And it's been, for the most part, it hasn't been much trouble besides what Lee and I have done there. It's funny because it's true, but nonetheless, it's a great gathering of so many different people, and the diversity is awesome. And people, it's just, and we are lucky too that it's downtown, although they called uptown. It's downtown anyway. So people are walking from, all the young people that live in that area. They can come down. People are getting tickets for cheap, whatever. It's just a good time, even if you're not into soccer. People, it's just a fun time.
I love the fact that you guys had those shirts that said "party." A city that seems that likes to party, and like us in LA, we love to party as well. I'm pretty sure you guys' fan base is very rowdy, and because of that, why don't you talk to us about your post game reactions that you guys get, and what is the craziest ones that you've gotten so far?
Yeah, you never know who's going to show up on those things, man. We just stand out there with the mic and the light, and we grab people up. JT, the craziest one. I mean, this weekend we had like a push-up competition going on.
Oh yeah,
Gorilla Bear.
The Gorilla Bear, yeah.
Yeah, Gorilla Bear. That was fun.
Who's right on there? Somebody asked.
So
Yeah.
I just want to know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How did you guys come up with the idea to do these? And when did you guys start? And how was it the first time? Because I love them. To me, it's like one of some of the best MLS content I see, because you get some random stuff on there, man. Like you said, the Gorilla Bear thing, man.
Yeah. No,
hey, Lee, hold on. You tell them how you came up with the idea.
Yeah.
Let me tell them about the first one.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. So how I come up with the idea? I mean, I'm originally from England, right? And obviously everybody knows about Arsenal Fan TV. So I stole the idea from them, and JT kind of does video editing for a while, and I reached out to him and said, "Hey man, I got this idea. Let's do fan TV for Charlotte," and here we are.
Well, that was the thing. So the first time,
I don't remember the first one.
Yeah, you don't remember the first one, do you? The first time, so we'd done, we started doing content 2 years before there was even a game to go to. So we'd been hanging out and getting to know everybody and all that kind of stuff. And so finally, it's the first game, and that night was completely crazy. Like, I knew a dude. I mean, it was crazy for a lot of reasons, but it was so packed out. It was so stuffed with people, and people knew that the supporter section was general admission, and you didn't have to have a certain ticket. Now they weren't going to check it on your phone, and so all these people trying to crowd into there. I saw like security guards being like, "I'm getting the fuck over here," like literally, like this isn't worth it. Going to quit. It was crazy. Like people throwing up in the back of people's hoodies, sweatshirts. I had that happen to a friend of mine. Nonetheless, it was a crazy fun night. But later that night, I mean, we both had a really good time, and Lee got a little lost. And I went to where we talked about going to do the interviews, and Lee happened to be lost somewhere else. So I just went around solo. So our first night, we didn't do it together. It wasn't the best. But then after that, we got it together.
Yeah. What's the first one?
A lot of those things, when it's the first time, it usually never tends to go the way you think it. You prepare so much and think, "Oh, we're gonna knock this at this moment, and then one little wrench could throw everything off." And I love that because you get great content from that when it's just random stuff. What has been the craziest story, but what has been probably like the most heartwarming one that you guys have had?
Heartwarming. I don't know, man. There's so many. Like I don't know. I can't even remember really what happened to the last one.
Well, I since I edit them, I have more time with them than Lee does. I'm trying to remember. Maybe not. Well, the person that proposed to his girlfriend to become fiance, that was cool. That was like, oh wow, and him wanting to do it. I guess he wanted to do it after the game or whatever, but he knew we were there, and he knew what he was doing it with us. So that was cool. But I love seeing the little kids because, with it being that's another thing that was so great. With it being a brand new team, and Lee and I getting in on the ground floor, we knew that it was like, man, this is our team, our community. And that's one thing Lee didn't say. Lee knew it was his idea about the fan TV thing, but he knew he wanted to get involved beyond just being a fan with the club, but he didn't want to be like the leader of the supporters group or this or that. And so we've been able to form this fan media thing, and the club has been so great working with us. They treat us just like normal media, and in many ways we are. But the idea that Lee came up with, I just want to be involved, but I don't want to do it like all these other ways. And that was one of the main pushes for it. But to your question, the little kids, and knowing that kid, we have some kids that come back all the time that we know, and we know their parents or whatever, and only through the soccer, though. It's not like we knew them before. But then you get some little kids, and you're going to see them again the next year or the next game or two next games. But 3 years from now, players come and go, coaches come and go, staff come and go, owners not so much, whatever. But we, the fans, will be here, and it's our team, and to create that community with the kids and stuff. That's what's most heartwarming overall to me.
Yeah, it's always the kids that warm that soft spot in your heart.
All about the kids.
Yeah, of course. And it's growth for the sport in this country as well. So I love that.
Now, what else I've noticed, by the way, right? I've seen how several times some girls are hitting on Lee, man.
Who?
I've seen it. Lee's visiting up the girls over there, man.
Hey, listen, let me tell you. I can tell you something about that too.
You can?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, like I said, I edit it, and I love it because whatever. Lee's having fun. He's very charismatic and good looking, all that stuff.
Oh, stop!
Yeah. But it's his accent. It's his accent. Because he moved from England like when he was 17 over to North Carolina and into a country area, not Charlotte proper, Huntersville. But I remember when I first met him, God, 15 years ago probably. And I was like, that is the most unique accent because it's heavy English with this North Carolina country twang to it. And it's unique. Anyway, the ladies love the accent, number one. Number two, he's the one with the mic. And number three, he's got it that way. But you're right. I could zoom in like the one that I use in the one intro. Her friend is talking. Her friend's like, if anyone wants to marry me. But if you look at her, she's the one looking up. She's just kind of looking up at Lee like, Yep. She was loaded. But still, she's like, yeah. Every once in a while, I get the girls and they're looking up at him like, oh yeah.
Yeah, well, if that's the case. Get my number, girls. I'm
hey,
cool.
well, some I don't know how I don't want to, but heard you speaking last fan reactions, and she started trying to do an English accent.
Oh yeah.
I think she thought you were putting on, and I was going to say something like, no, that's cool. She started speaking with a British accent, and then she stopped kind of quickly. So that was good.
Lee, you don't realize how many times these girls put their hands on you while you're on the mic.
It's so chaotic out there, right? It's like I'm trying to get my thoughts together about the game and ask these questions, and then it's like, well, we tried to get as many people as we can, so it's not like a 2-hour sort of interview session, and then you got people pulling on you, and then you got people waving and screaming at you, and it's just very chaotic. So a lot of times I'm just,
But to that point too, though, it's very Southern. We like Lee. I'll look sometimes. All of us have arms around each other and stuff when you're interviewing. A lot of times, people get up close and personal. I mean, you gotta go Mike, whatever. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of hugs and plenty of arms around each other. And
I enjoy it. It's a fun time.
I actually want to ask you about the accent, Ben, because you came here at 17, and how did you just pick it up because you were around a lot of people with the thick accent, or was it just something that you kind of just try to adapt?
So to correct JT for the 19th time, I believe I was like 13 when I moved here, right? So I joke around, I hit puberty, and then I turn into a Southerner, right? But Yeah, I mean, you move over at the time where I lived, like, it was rural, it was farmland and everything. So, here comes this English guy right straight out of London to this country, and everybody's like, talk for me, say this, say this. So eventually it was like, well, I'm just going to start like sounding more American. And then it, like, as I got older and it got to that phase where I started dating and that sort of thing, it was like, damn, I wish I could pull this back in. So now, like JT said, it's this weird sort of dialect, and I can tell sometimes on some of the words, you try to say, and it just like clashes, and I just cannot pronounce anything, like their names, for instance.
Yeah, and it's real easy to pick up too, because I lived in Virginia in 2001, and the first thing that somebody told me out there was, I speak too fast. Like, what's the rush?
I just listen too slow.
I'm like, sorry, I'm just want to get my words in. You're like, well, what's the rush? We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And so he was a guy who took care of the lawn at my fraternity's headquarters in Lexington, Virginia, which is a very southern little town. I loved it there. And the entire time I was there, I slowly picked up the twang without realizing it. So when I came back home, people were like, whoa, you sound different.
Hey, y'all, how y'all doing, man?
Yeah, that's the first time I started saying, y'all, how y'all doing? It's like, what did you say, all of you? And like, because it sounds better, and it just kind of rolls off the tongue,
Yeah.
But that's what's beautiful about community, though. You get to just enjoy each other, and then pick up things from each other. That's kind of cool. I love that. Yes. All right, let's get into some MLS talk. Yes. Charlotte FC is in 5th place currently, and you guys have kind of made your home a fortress. Aside from that one loss, what has been the secret sauce to making the bank a fortress?
Well, it really depends on who you listen to. Like last year, Latanzio was saying like the bank was making the players nervous, and then this year we're hearing like we're the 12th man. I mean, we do bring the energy. I don't know. It's I mean, there's so many things, right? I mean, home advantage is always going to be home advantage, regardless what team. But like you said, I think we've undefeated in 16 out of the last 17 games at home. We did lose, was it to Minnesota? I think it was, right? And a couple of weeks ago. So we're back on that 2-game winning streak. And then hopefully we'll get the third, or I kind of know we'll get the third this weekend. So, it's, it is. I mean, the fans get there, and it kind of goes back to when you asked us about our traditions, right? We got all these things going on pre-game, and most of the time, I would say for half of it, the players are actually out there anyway. So they're hearing the fans with the national anthem. They're hearing us now we started singing this Ashley Westwood song, and then we switch around and do the Posna, and, it's just, and are they out when they come out right before the visual start, right, JT, with the night and all that? Or do they come out after that? But it's
after the night, but the night kicks it off.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on, and again, I will say, I think we've got a pretty rabid fan base. At least what I see in the supporter section.
And one cool thing the club did from what I know, it's still the only one, but they created a position called a CFO, not chief financial officer, but chief fan officer, but made it like real deal. And he reports directly to the president, straight line, no one else. And, it wasn't a gimmicky thing. It was like, this is the liaison for all the fans to know they have a direct person. And he's out there in the supporter section all over and just kind of hangs out that whole area, before games, after game, during the game, all that kind of stuff, Sean. And so, we have someone, the CFO of the team too, and that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it. I mean, and home advantage is a home advantage,
as it should be.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to point out also the fact that you guys have, for the first time in team history, 3 consecutive clean sheets, which I know in the past one of the biggest complaints that you guys had, and I remember hearing it a lot in your show, was you guys always give up leads like late in the games, and it was a topic of great frustration. So what has Dean Smith? A lot of people know the new manager at Charlotte FC is Dean Smith, not to be confused with legendary UNC manager I mean, coach. But there's a Dean Smith back in North Carolina. He's managing Charlotte FC. What has Dean Smith done, or what adjustments have been made that now the team has posted all these clean sheets, and especially one on the road against Chicago, which that was a pretty tight match. I know Chicago's had their ups and downs.
So I just
yeah.
To interrupt real quick, it's Kalina sheets, right? Because it's right. You get a JT, right? That's our goalkeeper.
Yeah, Kalina sheets.
Kalina sheets, right? You know. So
obviously, I hadn't heard that one yet. That's good.
You know, that's copyrighted for everybody else.
There you go, JT, another shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's the same back four, right, that we had last year. You know, I know that Dino likes to, anytime there is a Kalina sheet, right, he buys the back four or the defenders and the goalkeeper a bottle of wine each. So, I mean, either.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he gets him a nice bottle of wine every time.
So maybe we got some winos in that team that we wasn't aware of until this year, and they're just playing harder. But I will say, with we got Privet, which I absolutely love this kid. You know, he came in, he was a midfielder, but then last year he started playing center back, and he's paired up with Malanda. And, he's been solid. And then we picked up a good solid left back. And then we have Byrne on the right back. And so Euronen on the left. And that back line is just, the very first thing I think Dean said is if you can stop the balls from coming in the box, and they got less chance to shoot and less chance to score. So that's kind of been the core of the team, right? So, yeah, I mean, nothing's really changed from last year to this year. It's just, I think the coaching and the mentality of the back line has been solid. And, it goes to show that, sometimes it's not the players, it is the coach.
Yeah. I've seen his resume. He's been a manager in the FA with teams like Leeds, Norwich, Aston Villa. He comes over here, changes the whole, football aspect of this team. But there's key players missing to your team. One in particular, Enzo Capetti. What's been going on with this?
He's gone.
Done.
Yeah, like today the club actually announced he's gone back to Argentina.
It's like the worst held secret or whatever, but it's like official. Yeah, he's back down in Argentina.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, we had all this hope and he was going to come in and light it up. I mean, he did pretty good at racing. But he comes to Charlotte. I mean, he's only had 3 goals this year in 11 games. He was injured a couple, but I mean, if you're looking at that, no, it wasn't. Is it 1 goal? 1 goal, I think, right? In 1 goal in 11 games. So if
the stat was the goals per minutes or whatever.
Yeah, but I was going.
So I thought he had 1 goal in 496 minutes.
Yeah, so if you take that through the whole season, essentially he was like under 5 goals for the season, right? It just wasn't. He just wasn't delivering what was expected. And then we got Adjuan, which come up through the Crown Legacy, which is our academy team, and he seems to be doing okay. I mean, he was really good last year coming off the bench, and then before the season started, we lost Carroll, our other DP striker. He wanted to go back to Europe, so he's playing over in Italy. And then basically, Dean came in and says, these are not my DPs. If I need to suss out what's going on. So he let 2 of our DPs go. Capetti left, which is our 3rd DP, on the team from when Dean came in. But then we have picked up Abada, which is a winger from Celtic. And then we got Breck at number 10, which is, he's on DP money, but they're going to buy him down with TAM. There's just no need to do it right now. That'll probably happen in the summer, I would imagine. And that will open up 2 DP slots. So with all that being said, I mean, essentially we've played the last 2.5 games without a DP on the pitch, and we've got 3 clean sheets out of that. So maybe we just don't need DPs. Who knows? But,
I'm curious to know, because I remember when you guys first got him.
Enzo,
how's it going with Jibril Gianni? How's he turned out for the team?
Yeah, Gianni is a baller, man. He's a baller. I call him Double D just because of his. Again, it goes back to the accents clashing and everything. So, so he's solid, right? He's been a good anchor man. He has been sat out a couple of games, or hasn't at least started. And Dino just said, if players are pushing players in practice. So therefore, if you're not,
he likes the competition, as they say.
if you're not delivering, then basically, if you're not delivering, you don't start. So that's basically it. But no, he's a solid player, and League Two from the French, right? Milan come from there too. That seems to be a good spot where Charlotte scouts seem to like to look. The only problem is with that is the international slots, right?
Right.
We've been pretty lucky. We're picking out players out of League Two for France.
That's where Dean gets his wine from too, to give away to the defense for the cleaner sheets.
Yeah.
So, look, I've been tracking what you guys have been doing, at home, but I've also been paying close attention to our, LA Galaxy's been doing on the road. This is a team that in a year has turned things around. And like last year, they were a complete and utter mess. This year on the road, they have only 2 losses. And those are the only 2 losses the team has suffered all season long. They've won in places where it's pretty difficult to win, like in Vancouver and against Kansas City, which is interesting because Greg Vanney, our manager, has had I think he had never beat Peter Vermees before that. So here we have this LA Galaxy team that's defying the odds, and they're coming in to play against Charlotte, who, like we've mentioned, have only lost 1 in the last 17 matches, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think it's going to take for Charlotte to break down the LA Galaxy? Before that, though, I will say last night, Joseph Paintsil left the game with a hamstring injury. We're not quite sure what his status is as of right now, but he's been a big part of the team's success this season. Yeah. So he may or may not be lining up. If it's hamstring, I'm pretty sure he won't be, because anybody's ever had a hamstring
injury on a player. But from a Charlotte perspective, we won't be mad if he didn't travel with y'all. But I will say, Galaxy though, I think you guys have beaten us every time you've come to Charlotte. You ruined our first ever home game. Yeah. That was kind of rude. I don't know.
The worst part about it was we didn't score a goal that game.
No, you guys didn't score until like the 85th minute.
I know, but it's one thing to lose. But my God, with that crowd and the fervor of that night, if we just had a goal go in, that place would have blown its top off.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the problem for Charlotte is, at least in my opinion, we seem to be like this donuts, right? At the middle of the pitch, we don't seem to run. We don't seem to play through the middle. We keep pushing to the wings, and teams seem to lock that down, which then forces us to go inside where we have no creativity. I think we're screaming out loud for a number 10. And then really, I mean, we've been struggling with just being clinical in the box. So I know from an LA Galaxy side, like you guys seem to be more top heavy, right? You're scoring goals, but you're also leaking them in the back. Our problem is we're stopping them from going in. We just can't put them in at the other end. So, maybe a nice merger would happen, right? I mean, then we could have the best team in the league. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we just need to, again, our back four is solid. They're playing well together. And if we can keep that up against Galaxy and we can just nick a free kick outside the box like Westwood did against Chicago last night, we possibly get that win. It all boils down to this record for us, man. And when he records for us, we've never lost. All we do is win.
Oh, you do have a stat on that ref, don't you, Edgar?
What's that?
You have that stat on the referee that's going to be refereeing this game?
Oh, yes. There's a couple of things we wanted to mention. One is, man, if you guys get your set pieces in against us, that's going to be a big thing, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Galaxy have given up at least 14 goals on set pieces this seison.
I will say, if Vargas is taking a free kick, you don't have to worry about it. That man, kudos to him. He just extended his contract with us, yada, yada, yada. But, man, I swear he must be, like, auditioning to be a Panthers kicker or something. Because when he's outside the box, when he's, like, taking those free kicks, they go straight out. I'm like,
well, you got to have Ashley Westwood take him, because that one he took last night, that was nice. Nice curler, man.
It's that 3-point top in.
Yeah. So let's talk about the ref, because it's I've been tracking the referees ever since for the last few games, and I've noticed that there's certain patterns to how they do games, and I've been trying to predict some of the results, and I've been pretty spot on with some of them. So the main man with the whistle this time around is going to be Joe Dickerson. And Mr. Joe Dickerson has refereed 118 MLS matches, including 12 for the LA Galaxy, one with Charlotte. Galaxy's going to be on the road. He's done 5 Galaxy matches on the road, so resulting in 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. And the one Charlotte game he did, the only one, was at home, and Charlotte won. So something's got to give. I mean,
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
So
No,
predictions. Let's talk predictions here, man.
Yeah,
So,
because
I don't know who wants to go first.
well, let me give you guys some win probabilities before we get predictions, and with the stats that you just gave us with the ref. Charlotte is 42% win probability. The draw is at 26%, and the LA Galaxy's win probability is at 32%. So it seems that the experts have Charlotte winning at home. Now, with the stats of the ref and all of the above, let's go with JT first. What is your prediction for this match between the LA Galaxy and Charlotte FC?
Well, assuming that your boy with the hamstring is not going to be playing, because hammies don't heal quickly. And the other thing about hamstrings is you got to be real easy with them. It's not like an ankle. It's like, oh, you think you can go? Let me go out there and try it. Like, do not go and try it with a hamstring, because if it really goes bad, it'll be bad for a long time. Having said that, I don't think you'll have them, so you won't be prolific scoring. I think we're going to win the game because it's the bank. 2-1 Charlotte.
I like that. Lee?
Yeah, so all season I've been going with a 1-1 us. So that's what I'm going to go with.
And it's been working because you guys are a solid fortress. Edgar,
We lose.
Edgar.
I'm gonna go with the same one. When I came on your show, I said this result, and I'm still gonna play the heel. Damn it! Drop some elbows, some stunners. 2-1 LA Galaxy, and it's gonna be extra hard because we're not gonna have Joseph Paintsil. But the LA Galaxy is very fortunate. We have a guy like Diego Fagundes who can step in and play that role, and he actually scored a goal against Minnesota. He's a guy who's been around the league for a long time, so hopefully Paintsil isn't injured too bad that he's not out for a while. But in the meantime, we do have Diego Fagundes that can step in.
And we got Privet.
Yeah. So 2-1 LA Galaxy. We got to get a dub on the road, baby. We got to bring the fortress down.
Unfortunately, I can't agree with Edgar. Just because this team,
Part one in the group, huh?
It's the whole thing with Paintsil. He's one of our main guys on the wing that we could actually use to exploit the Charlotte defense, and he's not going to be available. That's a big hurt. On top of that, the short week that's going to kind of mess up the LA Galaxy, especially going to Charlotte. And Charlotte is at home, so they just won a great game against Chicago away. That gives them momentum to come home, and the fans are going to be riled up to get some noise going in there. I'm gonna agree with JT. A 2-1 defeat for the LA Galaxy seems like it's gonna go down this weekend. Sorry.
Man,
By the way, man,
I forgot about it. You're right, though. Going to Minneapolis, then coming midweek, and then coming back, and then coming all the way over to Charlotte from LA. That's not easy, man.
It's not, and so that's gonna play a big factor in what this LA Galaxy could do against.
Jet lag is always worse going east than it is.
By the way, guys, I was going to say, I'm just browsing through our social media here, and some Galaxy fans brought up, hey, who was that feller that was on the COTFC Fan TV show that asked about the Chicho Reader guy?
Oh, Roscoe. Man, that's
Roscoe.
Yeah, he's the official sponsor of COTFC Fan TV, man. So
I love it. The Chicha Reader guy.
Somebody even made a meme out of it too.
Yeah, man, it went viral. That was a live show though. That was one of our live shows.
Yeah, I remember Roscoe. I remember hearing about he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, we don't know. Last time he was in a fight with his neighbor Jimmy or something, and I don't know. Well, we just won't go down that.
Damn it, Jimmy. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you guys on once again. I know the last time we talked, it was like a year ago. It's great to catch up with you guys again. Is there anything else you guys like to say before we wrap up the show?
JT, tell them where everybody can find us at, man.
On all the socials at CLTFC Fan TV. For the fans, by the fans, damn it.
Let's go. That's dope. Edgar, when can the people find you?
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. You can look me up as Edgar Nags or just simply NA_GS. Bryant.
You guys can find me as Bryant Nags on all social media. And of course, follow the show at News Across the Galaxy on all social medias, wherever you get your podcasts on. And we want to thank our guests once again for making time out of their day to join us and do this midweek show and kind of shoot the shit and banter back and forth. And we learned something new today. So that's the most important thing. And thank you guys for being on.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Brian, we found you a Halloween costume, dude. You can dress up like Sir Minty.
I would want to dress up like Sir Minty.
We got Big John Stud.
That's awesome. Well, it is it from us from News Across the Galaxy, from JT, Lee, Edgar, and myself. We're up out of here. And as always, keep on nagging.
For the crown.
Life.